Cookies for you. Will my fingers do? Dramatic pause. Joining me tonight, a very special co-host. Please welcome Bananas. Shh. The little one is sleeping. For those of you with a brave heart, get out! Be gone! Exercise your right to be a coward. For those of you with a brave heart, for those of you who have stayed, look into my face and know that to look into my face is to look into the face of evil. Yes, I am possessed by many demons. Demons that would gladly hold the door open for an elderly woman who is clearly carrying too many groceries. Sure, but demons nonetheless! I have walked the path of evil many times. A twisting, curving path that eventually leads to a very lovely community garden. But beyond that evil! So, New Year's, and I will my fingers do, dramatic pause. Yes, I am nothing more, nothing less than a mindless sheeple, and as such I have made a New Year's resolution because I just want to belong and I would like to share it with you now. Now, usually I make some ridiculously vague resolution like, I'm going to gain enough weight so that I no longer see my ribs, or perhaps I'll have a conversation with my parents this year. Instead I have chosen a resolution that really zeroes in on the problem. I will my fingers do, dramatic pause. I solemnly swear in front of each and every one of you that for the remainder of this year and possibly the years to come, I will not eat peanut butter sandwiches, regardless of circumstance. Even in the case of emergency, I will not. Now, the reason for this is because peanut butter has a way of sticking to the top of your mouth. And this can be quite distracting, you understand. And it can also impede a person's ability to cry for help when they need it. You see, you have the luxury of, you go to the office every day and you sit down at your desk and you drink your little coffee and you can do whatever it takes. You have all the time in the bloody world to get the peanut butter off the top of your mouth now, don't you? Well, I don't have that luxury. No, I manually masturbate animals for the purposes of artificial insemination. That's what I do for a living. Do you know how hard that is to do when you have peanut butter stuck to the top of your mouth? Elk are animals. Elk have horns. Bollocks! I bet a lot of you out there started out life as children. I bet a lot of your parents read you stories. Goldilocks and the Three Bears, perhaps. Well, I am here today to tell you that you have grown to adulthood in spite of a terrible amount of disinformation. Firstly, bears do not like porridge. Doesn't matter if it's too hot, if it's too cold, or if it's just right. They won't eat it. I did once see a bear eat baked beans, but, I mean, that was out of a pot on a camp stove. Then he ate the pot. Then the stove. But no porridge. Secondly, bears do not sit in chairs, now do they? They don't sit on anything that they don't plan on eating. And you can just forget about those bears you see riding around on those little motorcycles in the circus. Those aren't real bears. So desperate little men in furry suits. Thirdly, bears do not sleep in beds. In fact, unless they're hibernating, bears rarely sleep. Why, I, myself, will my fingers to you, dramatic pause. Once sat in a tree for 28 hours, while a bear with nefarious purposes waited at the base so it could eat me. He never slept. They never get sleepy. Honestly, sleepy bears don't flip your Prius and eat the tires, now do they? I don't care what Goldilocks says. Pretending to be asleep won't trick a bear. Neither was screaming hysterically or peeing on your shoes. At least in my experience. Though the only thing that could have saved Goldilocks would have been several large park rangers with nets and tranquilizer guns. You know, sometimes when you hear the call of the wild, you should let somebody else pick it up. I quite enjoy the dramatic pause.